Yo, what's up, everybody? Yo, Jenny, yo, Tober, thanks for coming out. Happy Labor Day. Hope you're all ready for some riveting content. We're gonna go through Water Temple not once, but twice. Alright, so just before we get started, I suppose I should introduce myself. I know the both of you, but I'll introduce myself anyway in case there's any lurkers in the chat. My name is Alfalfa. I was a Season 1 Scrubs participant and champion. Not bragging, just stating the facts. I've been playing the game for like 5 years or something. I'm an old man at this point. A couple of years ago I did a bunch of these teaching streams. I did one about Shadow Temple, Fire Temple, Ganon's Castle, a bunch of overworld stuff. Those are all up on YouTube. I also did one about Water Temple, but for some reason it didn't get recorded or didn't get saved or something. It's gone for whatever reason. So I'm going to do it again. And now including peaks, which we didn't do back in the day. We didn't use to peak chests, we just opened them all. So this stream's going to go over logic for Water Temple, understanding the logic for each check. Water Temple's a super complicated dungeon. It's underrated in terms of complexity. Second only to Spirit Temple, I think. Oh, I'm glad you found them helpful, Jenny. Yeah, that's why I made them, so glad to hear that. So yeah, I'm gonna go over like all the logic for each check. One really cool thing about water is that almost every check has different logical requirements, and you can circumvent almost all of them in one way or another. We're also going to look at going out of logic and then gold scale water as well. I'm really glad people have found these resources helpful. It can be kind of daunting to get into this game. There's so much to know, and like it takes a while to pick it up. It took me a long time to pick it all up, so hopefully this can make it easier for some people to deal with Water Temple, which is like a notoriously confusing dungeon, a famously confusing dungeon. So we're going to jump in. You may have seen on the file screen I gave us quite a lot of equipment to work with. So let's just take a quick look. We got here the long shot, we got a bow, bombs and bomb shoes, nuts of course, FW and Din's fire. I gave us a fairy and a blue potion in case we run low on health or magic. Also the Zora tunic, iron boots and hover boots, gold scale, and a strength. All of these are relevant, logically or not, all of these items are relevant for Water Temple. Also gave us Serenade and an Ocarina, so we can just hop right on down to Lake Hylia and jump into the water. If you haven't noticed, this seed link is in the stream title, so if you want to play along, feel free to grab it. Before we even go into Water Temple, I want to talk about swimming with iron boots on. It's something that looks so easy, but unless you know what you're doing, you're not going to get it right. So you've probably seen people swimming around like this with the iron boots on, which is not what you probably did on your vanilla playthrough. The trick here is you want to be holding target and a direction. Up, down, left, right, doesn't matter which direction, but you need to be holding some direction at all times while you're swimming with iron boots on. So if I stop, here I'll start coming down again. If I stop holding a direction, I just start going down. And if I start holding a direction again, nothing happens. So you always have to be holding the joystick, or in my case, one of your keys in one direction or another. Another thing to know about this is if you mash B while you're swimming, you move a little bit faster through water. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough that I mash B whenever I'm doing it. So target, direction, equip boots, mash B, and you can move around pretty effectively underwater. So that being said, we're going to jump in. Love this fast gate. That's one of the best little speed ups. Cutting out that little cutscene. So, welcome to the Water Temple. Initially we have two options. There's compass first and there's map first. Every check, of course, has a name, and if you don't know the names, the compass and map are named after their vanilla location, so down there, that's where the compass is. If we want to get the map, we got to go down one further level, and then all the way back up. There's a big debate, a long-running debate, which is better, compass first, map first. Different top-level runners will have different preferences. I'm a compass first kind of guy. Basically, the difference is if you're here just looking for the boss key, get in and get out. Doing compass first, you can skip like 3 or 4 checks. Yeah, the compass is the one that has like the water wall around it, and the map one is the one near where you lower the water level. Yo, Alexander Harold, welcome to the stream. Pride Pog indeed. One thing you should do before map or compass, whichever one you prefer to do first, if you can, is drop FW over here. So if you have Pharaoh's Wind, this is the best place to use it in Water Temple. The reason is it saves having to raise the water back up to the top level if you find the boss key while the water is down. So you don't have to get up to that top area, you don't have to watch the cutscene of the water coming back up. So if you're coming into Water Temple equipped to beat it, you've got your long shot, and you have FW, and you have magic, 100% this is the best play. Drop your FW here right outside of the Morpha room, and then whenever you find the boss key, bam, you're right back. You can just go. I have never had any luck with that underwater peak. It's a different timing. I think I'm just not used to it. So when we do gold scale water, we're going to do just a normal playthrough of water. When we do gold scale water, we have to do map first. It's not possible to do compass first in gold scale water. So I'm going to do compass first this time so that we can see what it looks like underwater. And then we'll do it with the water lowered later. So there's 4 of these little underwater bats, and I found the best thing to do is to shield them without targeting them. Just boop, boop, and then they just stay sort of stunned for a while. If you have long shot, you can shoot right up to that thing if you're standing in the right spot. If you don't have long shot, you have to go for that lower one. While you're in the air, you want to jump slash. And here we are. So this is what's called the compass chest, the one with the wall of water around it. The intended strat, I'm going to drop a save state here. The intended strat is to shoot this switch. We get like a 6 or 7 second cutscene, and then we can open it. However, you don't need to do that. If you roll and mash A as you get close to the chest, you can just open the chest. And I did a little bit of timing. I found that getting it on the 3rd try is equal to just watching the cutscene right from the start. So I'll show you, if you miss, you sort of get kicked up, you just jump back down, and you want to be mashing A sort of when Link's entering into the water. So I missed it there, jump back down. It's a small time save, and honestly, if you don't get it consistently, it's better to just hit the switch. So, one other thing to know about this room, these 3 pots over here are all guaranteed heart drops, unless you're full on health, and then it's a ruby. So yeah, third time is the same as just hitting the switch, so if you can get it within the first 3 tries consistently, I'd say it's worth going for it. Getting out of here, I like to just side hop into the water, because then you're holding a direction and target already. These guys have been chilling for a while, so they have a cooldown period. During their cooldown period, they'll just swim around aimlessly, and they won't attack you on your way back out. So we didn't get the boss key, so we got to keep going. We got to come down here, and then back up again. I didn't mention about the timer. Maybe before we go any further, I'll show a thing to know about the timer. You can see it's slowly ticking down. We got plenty of time. It's not a concern. But one thing that's good to know about this timer, you'll see as I go down, it's not appearing yet. Okay, now see, it's in the middle of the screen. It's not at the top corner yet. It doesn't start counting down until it moves up to the top left corner. And if I unequip the boots before it makes it there, it turns off. It only does this a limited number of times. I think maybe like, yeah, 3 times. So the first 3 times you do that, if you do it before the timer has reached the top left corner completely, the next time you put on the boots while you're still underwater, it won't come back again. So that's a good way if you're low on health. You know, you can start sinking. There's the timer. Unequip, re-equip the boots. Unequip, re-equip the boots. Unequip, re-equip the boots. You just sort of like do that for a little while. It won't work forever, but it'll work for quite a while. Also, while we're coming up here, if we target this wall, we can sometimes, I find it's more effective actually to be on the left of the right side of the crack. So we're here on the right side of the crack, we're coming up. Didn't quite see what was in there. I don't know what's the most consistent thing to see that underwater, but if you can't see it from underwater, there is a peak over here in this corner. If we roll and then press C up when Link is sort of at the bottom of his roll, we can sort of clip into the wall and we can see, hey, there's a major item down there. So the frame you want to press C up on is... I'm not getting it anymore. Yeah, there it is. Something like that, and then you can see what's under there if you miss it on the way up. These guys suck. The best way to beat them is with a quick spin. I can't quick spin, I'm on keyboard. So what I do is I drop a bomb, and that stuns them, and then a crouch stab will do it. They are also vulnerable to nuts, they're vulnerable to Din's Fire. Din's Fire will one-shot them. There's lots of ways to kill them, but they're a pain. One other thing that you can do is to hookshot them. I've never really liked this route, but your mileage may vary. It takes 2 hits, so it's not quite as good. And then sometimes they just, like, collapse. I've never really understood these enemies, like what causes them to collapse. You hit them too many times too quickly, they come back. They're mysterious, but a really consistent strategy is just dropping a bomb in the middle and then crouch stabbing them. So the cracked wall is the next check. I do want to point out with these first 2 checks that we did, the compass and the map, the logical requirements are just iron boots and hookshot. You don't need Zelda's Lullaby to do either of those checks. If the boss key is in one of those checks, the compass or the map, then Zelda's Lullaby can be locked behind beating Water Temple. And that happens more often than you might think. So if you know that ZL is behind water, then you know your boss key has to be 100% in one of those 2 checks. Those are the only 2 that don't logically require ZL. The next one, the cracked wall, does logically require ZL. It actually has really complicated requirements. For this cracked wall down here, you need iron boots, hookshot, Zelda's Lullaby, bow or magic and Din's Fire, and bombs. The reason for the bow or Din's Fire and magic requirement is because logically you need the water at the middle level, and to do that, logically you need 5 keys. And to get 5 keys with these settings, logically you need either bow or Din's Fire. There aren't enough places for all the keys. Oh man, that's a funny seed. Long shot and boss key in those 2 checks. That's ridiculous. So that's the logical requirement for the cracked wall. Iron boots, hookshot, Zelda's Lullaby, bow or magic and Din's Fire, and bombs. However, we can do it with just iron boots, hookshot, and a bomb chew. So I'll show this first. We pull the bomb chew 1, 2, 3. On the 4th flash, we drop it. We can come down here. You usually can't open chests underwater, it doesn't let you, but if you hookshot the chest, then you can open it. It's not based on time, I can wait a while before I press A. You just need to hookshot it first. So 1, 2, 3, on the 4th flash, drop it, and it'll break the wall. This works on any underwater chest. There's one in Water Temple as well in the well courtyard area. So now I can open the chest. There are 2 other ways to do this with the water down. This is why it's a good thing to have that FW there. We can just, if we find the boss key, we can just pop right back. We don't have to worry about raising the water. So I'll make another save state here with the water down. So the easiest way to do this is with the hover boots. You want to get in this corner here. Hold target, walk out, and side hop. That's all there is to that. That's not in Logic. Logic expects you to fail that trick, and then you have no way to get back up. So just walk out, side hop. No problem. There is a really crappy alternative strat if you don't have the things that you need to do either of those first 2. So I'll walk through this, target the wall, and back walk. See, I'm not at the wall. I'm against this, like, this post thing. I'm not here. I'm over here. I'll target the wall, back walk into this corner. What we're going to do is a side hop right, and then press A and let go of Z. That's called, like, a side roll. So, again, it's side hop right. Press A to roll, and while you roll, let go of Z. We're going to target again and do a backflip, and then a side hop left, and then a timed jump slash. As soon as I hear Link start to scream, that's when I press the jump slash. Get in the corner, side roll, backflip, side hop. I hear a little scream, and then I press jump slash. So that, like, I always feel a little nervous when I have to do that one, because if you fail, then you're down at the bottom, and there's really no quick way to get back up. But it is a good thing to have in your back pocket. It's a good thing to practice. And hey, look, we got the ice arrows out of it, so definitely worthwhile. Alright, so we're gonna need bow for this next one. So this check, people call it the... Oh, you use a visual cue for that. Yeah, I never found a good visual cue. I like the audio cue for that one. But, yeah, your mileage may vary. Whatever works for you. This chest people call the torches chest. Pretty self-explanatory. We got the 2 torches. These pots are guaranteed arrow drops, but it's not very useful because the enemies in here are also guaranteed arrow drops. So, there's some useless information for you. These guys also kind of suck. Quick spinning is good if you can quick spin. It's not available for me. These guys have sort of a proximity trigger. When you get within a certain distance from them, that's when they open up, and you want to approach them from the front as much as possible. If you approach them from the side or the back, they can open up, and then before you get in position to attack them, they'll attack you. So you want to come at them as directly as possible. So I do them sort of one at a time to avoid getting attacked. And you can see they're all just straight arrow drops. So we got 2 keys. You're guaranteed, this is the other reason I like Compass first, you're guaranteed to get a minimum of 2 keys by the time you finish those 4 checks if you do Compass first. And so then you're guaranteed to be able to go and do the boss key. So the standard route from here goes over and does the boss key. But before we do that, I want to just talk for a second about key logic in Water Temple. So you'll see this door is locked. And if you have a good remembrance of your vanilla playthrough, you may remember that that door right there is locked in the vanilla game. But it's not locked here in the randomizer. This was a deliberate choice of the randomizer developers to remove the lock from that door to make water key logic actually interesting. If that wasn't an unlocked door, then water key logic would be super predictable and the same every time, pretty much. So in addition, up there's a locked door, and behind it is another locked door that leads to Dark Link. And on our way to the boss key, the vanilla boss key chest, there are 2 more locked doors. So there's 5 locked doors in Water Temple. There are 6 keys. There's an extra small key in Water Temple. Logic expects that you have 5 keys before you open any locked door. So right now, opening this door here is out of logic. Opening that door up there is out of logic, and opening the doors over here are out of logic. Logic expects that you will have 5 small keys before you go anywhere behind a locked door. There are 7 available checks without opening a locked door. So 5 of them have to be a small key, or the boss key with a small key on Morpha. Behind locked doors there are 3 checks. 2 of them are items, 100% of the time. In about 1 in 30 seeds, like about 3% of seeds, all 3 of them are items, and all 6 keys are available without opening a door. Sounds complicated, sounds like a lot to keep in mind, but once you remember, you have to find 5 keys not behind a door. The maximum number of keys you can find behind a door is 1. Once you remember that, you can start to make deductions about where items are. So far we found 1 item. We know there is a maximum of 1 more item that's not locked behind a door. We also know that there's a pretty good chance that we'll find an item behind these locked doors over here. So that's key logic. It sounds a little more complicated than it is. In practice, as you do it, you get a pretty good sense of it. So, I'm going to go in here. We're going to check out the boss key next. What we call the boss key chest. It could be anything that's in here. The requirements for this one are iron boots and long shot. This is one of the 3 checks in the game that's always logically long shot locked, along with Morpha and shoot the sun. Hookshot won't reach over there. Zelda's Lullaby is required for this to lower the water. 5 keys is required for this. And either hover boots or a bomb bag. So we can just hook shot across, or long shot across, but we can also use the iron boots to skip the long shot requirement. What we do for that is we get in the corner, we start backwalking, and then we have to time a backflip. I got it first try. I don't always get it first try. If you backflip too early, you'll hit the spikes. If you backflip too late, you'll fall in the water. So I'll show you too early. And then too late, you'll just fall in the water. Oh, no, you'll run all the way into the spikes. Okay. I guess I'm never too late. I'm usually too early on this. There, I'm too late again. You do want to backwalk all the way from the corner, though, because otherwise you won't have the required speed. So the nice thing about it is, even if you fail a bunch of times, it's no big deal. Usually people are going to save right before they go in this door. This is save scumming the keys. So if we get nothing useful in here, we can just reset. We'll have our 2 keys back. I'm going to drop a save state here. The best way to do this is if you have the hover boots. If you have the hover boots, it's no problem. You just hover on over here. We made it. Great. If you don't have the hover boots, then logic expects you to go all the way across, and then there's a room with some underwater bats, and like you have to bomb some walls and push a block. I haven't seen that room in years. Don't go into that room. It's so slow. The setup I'm going to show takes a little bit of time to learn. It is absolutely worth it. You save like 2.5 minutes, I think. So definitely worth learning. The initial position for the setup is just walking through the door. What you're going to want to do is 2 side hops left, and then like we saw before, an untargeted side roll. So press A, release Z, or Z, however you want to say it. 2 side hops right, 1 left, same thing again. Press A, release target. 2 side hops right, up and A. I like to press target as you get close to grabbing the wall. It helps to make the grab a little more consistent for me. So again, that's 2 left, roll and unrelease. 2 right, 1 left, roll and release. 2 right, up and A, press target when you get close to the wall. I find I fail it like 30% of the time, and I have never really been able to figure out why. But that's what it looks like. The thing that I think often goes wrong for me when I fail is I retarget too early. So when you're doing the side roll thing, release target, press roll, you can retarget too early, and then you don't get the full turn. Like if I do like that, I didn't quite get the full turn. So my angle's not quite right to do it. So that's one thing that can go wrong. I also do have a backup. This is my own setup for if you fail. You do need to kill this guy because he'll mess you up. But here's my backup if I fail. See, the top of Link's hat is lined up with that brick. I do 2 crouch stabs and then target over like that. So you're targeting like the second little swirly water symbols there. Get them lined up, 2 crouch stabs, look over to the right, and then up plus A as close together as possible. Again, I press target when I get close. That seems to help. So that's my own little backup. I do that when I fail, and that may be useful for you. It's definitely faster to do the initial setup, though, because you have to kill the little Tektite to do that thing. So normally we would just go down here with the iron boots. I do want to show quickly a gold scale water strat if you don't have the water boots, so that I don't have to come back here when we do our gold scale playthrough. So it's not a hard trick, but the angle is important. We want to be looking out so that we get a good long jump. You hold target, you roll forward, and then while you're in midair, you hold right. So that gets you into that tunnel. With the current, you can't just dive, so you need to roll, holding target, and right, and that gets you into this little boss key area. Now, do we get to save scum our keys or nah? Ooh, big chest. What's it gonna be? I think we can live without it. So we reset, we get our 2 keys back, we're back at the top. So at this point, if I didn't have Song of Time, I would be thinking about doing Dragon Chest. However, I do have Song of Time, so I'm going to leave Dragon Chest for last. So the next thing, if we've done Compass first, will be the Central Bow Chest, which is directly below me. If you have Hover Boots, you can come over to the top. Alexander was talking about peeking this chest with the water up, and you can peek it with the water up. You can also peek it with the water down. And we can see it's a key. So let's imagine we need that key. We can pull this block all the way out, and that saves us shooting the eye switch 1 time. I'm going to show off a little bit. There is... Oh, I guess I'm not going to show off. There is a trick... yeah, I'm going to show off. There is a trick to do this block without bow. It is not a Scrubs level trick. It is a very niche, high level trick. It involves pause buffering and frame perfect inputs and all those sorts of things. But I'm going to show it off because I've never gotten to do it in a race. One of these days it's going to come up in a race. I practice it. I don't recommend learning this trick for Scrubs. I have never actually found a good use for it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so it's almost pulled. Get against the wall, target, press sword and then shield to stop your momentum. Then you want to unequip your sword so like you can do that. A side hop and a targeted side roll to get into this position. I'm going to turn around with a shield turn. Pull a bomb, drop it, turn. Oh, I'm in the wrong position somehow. Alright, let's try that all again. Drop that bomb, turn. No, something's going wrong here. I don't know what's... It's because I said I was going to show off. There we go. Now we want to pull on exactly the right frame. That's the frame there. So when I unpause, you'll see the bomb is big, but not pink. It's the big purple bomb frame. On that frame, you want to pull down, like hold down, pull back. The block gets pulled, and you get pushed over to this side. It's a sweet little trick. It lets you skip having a bow. However, it's really hard. It's really precise. So again, I don't recommend learning that. But it is like a very occasionally a useful trick. So it's good to know you can skip the bow requirement for this. However, don't spend hours of your life practicing like I have because it has literally never done me any good. But I guess it's done Alexander Harold some good. Shoutouts to Toxic Oxygen, who was an old strat finder in Rando. He found that a couple of years ago. And amazingly, that's been ruled to be legal. There's no clipping, you don't go out of bounds. So you want to pull this all the way, is what you want to do, if you have the hover boots. If you don't, then you just got to do what we're about to do twice. So this logically requires either long shot or hover boots. This gap is crossable with hover boots, and that target is reachable with long shot. If you have either of those, plus bow, plus ZL, this is in logic. I have a hard time with the aim here. Got it. Okay. And just to point out, you can also peek it from this side. So if you're coming in without hover boots, you can peek it from this side and find out that it's a key. Alright, so we've got now 3 keys. It's more than we'll ever need. 2 is usually the most that you'll ever need. So, assuming we have Song of Time, next we'll do the central pillar. And to do the central pillar, conventionally, we're going to shoot this target with a bow. And that's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to show you how to do it. You can figure that one out. There is a cool way to do this that also saves time, so I'm going to show that. First, we're going to get ourselves back up to the top level. I have a setup for this. You don't need a setup if you don't play on keyboard. But for me, I have to stand in a pretty particular spot. But basically, you want to be fairly close to the wall, not too far out from the wall. You want to be closer in there and like a little bit back from the edge. Will give you a good angle to hookshot up to here, and then a jump slash will get you up. What we're going to do is light the torch from up here with Din's fire. And then we're going to raise the water level, and the door will stay unlocked. We can open the door underwater. So this saves some time. If you're coming out from the central bow chest, you have Din's fire, you're planning to do central pillar, you come over here, you do Din's fire, then you raise the water to the top level, and then it's at the top, it's never at the middle level, so you don't ever have to watch the middle level cutscene. To get up here, there's 2 quick ways to do it. I'll drop a save state right here for ease of redoing it. One is we're going to aim a little bit to the right of... You see how the sword icon is a little bit to the right of the little Triforce thing? Holding shield, run forward, and then mash jump slash. You have to hold shield, I don't know why. If you don't hold shield, it's pretty fiddly. You sometimes get it, you sometimes don't, but if you hold shield, it's 100%. If your angle is right, you'll get it. Just keep mashing jump slash, like you might not get it at first, but you won't fall. Oh. Game making a liar out of me. Oh my goodness, what am I doing wrong here? Maybe my angle's wrong? I'm confused. Never mind, don't listen to me, I don't know what I'm talking about. If you're using the hover boots, you definitely want to come over on this side. That ledge over there is harder to grab with the hover boots. Like, for some reason, you want to be further to the left. That's really consistent, but coming further to the right, just for whatever reason, you get this a lot. So if you are going to use the hover boots, coming over to the left is best. If you're going to jump slash, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it was working from that exact angle and then it wasn't. I'm really confused right now. Huh. I'm learning something. Alright, we're gonna get like that. Shields out. Oh, okay, we're up. Alright, so if you'll recall, we used in fire to light the torch. Now we're raising the water above the level of the door. And I'm going to drink my potion so that I have a little bit more health. Ideally, to do this, you want at least 5 hearts. You can do it with just 3. You can do it with just 3 hearts central pillar, but like, don't. I also have a fairy, but I don't want to use it. So you see the torch lights, and we're in. So here we can make use of that trick to avoid the timer starting. But now we can't anymore. There is a peak for this chest. It's a pretty easy peak. You want to get on this seam in the floor, back against the wall, press the iron boots button, or not holding target at all, and you can see it is a small key. I'm actually just going to equip this. So right up on this seam right here, back against the wall, unequip, and you can see it's a small key. You can see the texture if it's a gilded chest as well. I think I heard those enemies collapsing. Yeah, it's a really easy peek too. It's like a trivial peek. If you have tunic, that's definitely the thing to do. So unfortunately these guys collapsed. I can't show you their normal behavior. Maybe if I leave and come back. I don't know where the loading zone for this room is. Is that loaded the whole time? So this is going to be a little bit more normal. So again, I don't understand these enemies. They will all of a sudden just stop moving once you hit enough of them. You don't want to target them. Targeting them will just sort of like confuse you. It's better to just like mash around, aim in their general direction. These guys, as I said before, you do want to target, and you want to approach them as much from the front as possible. Too far to the side and you'll get wrecked. Alright, and we already saw this was a small key, but just assuming that we need all the keys we can get. So, if you were paying attention to Water Temple logic, so far we've gotten 4 small keys without opening any key doors. We have 1 place left that's not key locked. That's Dragon Chest. What's on Dragon Chest? Is it a key? Is it an item? Can we know? Stay tuned to find out. We are on our way now to the Dark Link Loop. And we see the water's all the way back up at the top, which is great. We don't need to raise it up. If you have hover boots, that's the fastest way to come over here. If you don't, then like just deal with the jumps. But this room also hovers can be very useful. I'll show a little strat that some people like to use. You put the hovers on, and you just slide on across. You wind up over here. I don't personally use this strat because I have a hard time with aiming. Again, I play on a keyboard. It's not the best thing for keyboard, but it's okay. If you don't have hovers, you can just come down to this platform here. This next room has a soft lock if you're doing gold scale water. When we do gold scale water, there's no reason for me to come back in here because it's exactly the same with gold scale water, but I do want to point out if you fall into the water here, the intended strategy is to equip the iron boots so that you can pull out the hookshot so that you can hit that switch. But if you're doing gold scale water and you fall into the water here, there's no way to get out of the water. You can't hit the switch, the water's too low to climb onto any ledges, so if you are coming in here without iron boots, you have to be very careful not to fall in the water, otherwise you have to reset and waste some time. So the intended strategy here, I'll walk through it, is to raise this up, then come over here, then lower it. Oh my goodness, this is so slow. Then come over here and shoot this thing. And then come back and then raise this up and then go over there and then lower it down and then climb on top of that and then raise it back up and then go over there. And so that sucks. If you have hover boots, all of these gaps are makeable. This one, you have to be careful not to roll right at the end. If you roll right at the end, I believe you'll bonk the wall. I'm going to make a save state coming into this room so that I can check that out, but I'm pretty sure that you can bonk that wall. I'm pretty sure that's happened to me before. Oh, maybe not. One thing that you can also do if you don't have hover boots is you can long shot that thing over there, that target right there. I have a setup, again, keyboard sucks, where I do a left-right side hop, a targeted roll, 3 little neutral rolls, but basically you just want to get sort of over here, and with long shot you can reach all the way over there and skip half the puzzle. So if you don't have hover boots, that's pretty handy. One other thing to know in this room, if you stand underneath this dragon while he's on his way down, so I'm right underneath him, I get clipped on top. All of a sudden I'm on top of the dragon, so I can pop back up again. You can hookshot that thing up there, however what you'll see people actually do is to hookshot the like. Hello? Yeah, that's what you'll see people usually do, because then you won't fall into the like. Also good to know, these are both guaranteed big magic pots. They like to jump up on top of that thing for some reason, but if you're low on magic, that's a good place to refill. Alright, Dark Link, everybody's favorite mini-boss. Coolest room in the game. Shoutouts to this thing over here. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be or what it's doing there. We'll take a look at nut strats and sidewalk strats. I'm not good at nut strats, so be warned. You have to go a certain distance past the island before he shows up. I'm not sure exactly how far. I always go like pretty far just so that I'll be sure. Where is he? Hello? Oh, I was on the wrong side of the tree. Okay, I got turned around. Alright, I'll drop the save state here. Alright, so you can hit him with a nut, but not head on. You want to be facing sort of 90 degrees from him. Turn and jump slash. Don't crouch stab him. If you crouch stab him, nothing will happen. So you want to be like, yeah, have him sort of behind you, off to the side of you. It's just, I think every jump slash does 2 hearts worth of health, and he has the same amount of health as you do. So I've got 6 hearts. It takes 3 jump slashes. There we go. One other strategy, if you don't have nuts, or if you don't like the nut strat, if you're not good at it, is to look away from him and sort of sidewalk right. Slash occasionally, and he'll show up eventually. Come on. So just be sidewalking right, and when he shows up, slash. I think this does 1 heart per hit. So it's a little slower, but if it's more consistent for you, like the consistent strat is the fast strat in the long run. So I'm just sidewalking right, and when he shows up, I slash. Yeah, it's very similar to throwing a nut at the Gerudo guards. However, he moves a lot faster than the Gerudo guards. So I find I can do that one really consistently, where with Dark Link I miss like half the time with nuts. Small note, it's very slightly faster to hookshot this chest compared to walking up. So as soon as you get in the room, just hookshot it. You save like half a second, but like it's a free half second. Going down into the river, a way that I see people lose time sometimes is standing on the Song of Time block when they play Song of Time. Don't stand on the Song of Time block. You can do it right from in front of the chest. This is the most logically complicated check in Water Temple. It requires Iron Boots, Hookshot, Zelda's Lullaby, 5 keys, Song of Time, and Bow. Or instead of 5 keys, Song of Time, and Bow, just Strength. Because you can come at it from... Oh, no, wait, that's the Dragon Chest. Yeah, no, 5 keys, Song of Time, Bow. Dragon Chest is the most logically complicated. I'm getting ahead of myself. Easiest way to fall into the whirlpools in this river is to equip the Iron Boots. What you want to do is do this without ever touching the Iron Boots. You'll see I'll come around this corner nice and tight, hug the corner, then switch over to the right side, and then switch over to the left side. I'm mashing B the whole time. When you mash B while you're swimming, you go slightly faster. So just to see that again, I'm mashing B, hugging the left wall, hugging the right wall, and then going over to the left wall. If you try to walk through the river, guaranteed you're gonna fall sometimes. If you swim, like literally never. I never ever fall into those whirlpools. So just get used to that left, right, left, zigzag, mash B to swim a little faster. You'll be fine. I have definitely though gotten all the way here and realized I didn't have a bow. So the bow is hard required for this. You don't need to hookshot this chest. You can just hold forward. If you have hover boots, doesn't matter. Hover boots will help. Just hold forward out of that cutscene. You'll be able to grab. You got plenty of time. And I'm gonna drop a save state up here so that I can show gold scale and not gold scale strats. So without the gold scale, without any shenanigans, we're gonna come down here. We can hookshot this. And then you don't need to do any more hookshotting, nothing fancy. Unequip iron boots and hold up. Mash B to go a little faster. Every time you will make it through, no problem. Unequip iron boots and hold up, that's all you gotta do. However, with gold scale, you can't use the iron boots. So coming from up here, you can peek it. Oh, gone a little too far. You can hear the one room loading. We're in the river. We're in the dragon room. You can hear the difference. So once you're in the dragon room, you can peek it. And hey, it's the boss chest. If you guess boss chest, you get a gold star. So we need the boss key. We can use our bow to shoot that target, and then we can, with a side hop, get down and get the boss key. It's not trivial, and you only get one chance at it, so it's definitely worth practicing. Again, I have a setup because I have a hard time with aiming. So I do a double crouch stab right here, and that should be the perfect spot to hit this target. Definitely when you hit this target, hello? Okay, maybe I need to be slightly further forward. When you hit this target, you definitely don't want to be close to the right wall. You want to be further away from it. So wherever you're standing when you do this, let's try that again. The cutscene orients you perfectly to do the side hop. There we go. So the cutscene turns you. You want to turn right, just tap right, and then side hop. Whoops, side hop. Oh. Easy, right? Easy. I tried to side hop, I rolled. So we gotta do it again. You want to turn right 90 degrees, just tap right, and then side hop left. There we go. Turn right, side hop. Hello! There we go. And then I'm just holding left, and you get in, no problem. So again, that is a one-shot thing. I'll show you later a backup if that fails using bomb chews. Doesn't need to be slow. Maybe that's why I was failing, because I was trying to go so slow. One, two, turn, bow, shoot. Tap right, side hop left. And of course you can mash B to swim a little faster. Alright, so we got our boss key. That's the last check in the dungeon. So we can go fight Morpha. And then we'll quickly cover a few things about gold scale water, but we're almost done. So about climbing this hill, I'll show you two ways without the hover boots. Hover boots is easiest. When you come in this door without the hover boots, immediately go left. It's slow, but it's consistent. If you just immediately go to the left side and run up, it works. A slightly faster way to do it, a little less consistent depending on how fast you are. Come in the door, you're going to turn and face the door, side hop left and back walk. You saw there the timing was pretty tight. One of the shell blades almost hit me. That is the faster, but again, slightly less reliable or less consistent strat. Do the thing that usually works for you. If you have hover boots, use the hover boots. It's just easier. Alright, Morpha. We're going to start with the quick kill. Quick kill's hard. I failed. Let's try again. Quick kill's hard. That should be it. Any questions? Quick kill sucks. Don't go for the quick kill when you're first learning this fight. What you want to do, if you're not going for the quick kill, is you want to get in the corner and not target Morpha. This corner is fine. That corner is fine. Target is not your friend at this point. You want to aim in the general direction, and now we'll target him. Every time you hit him with the hookshot, it's stunned for a little while. You can let it bounce a few times. I think it'll bounce 3 times, and on the 3rd bounce it'll start moving away. So it's pretty easy to just pull him into the corner. That's actually a little too far. You see there's a sort of like a grid. There is pretty much perfect. So like just on the near the corner of the outside square, and we slash, jump slash, untarget, and crouch shot. If it's too far in, it'll sometimes get away from you. So I'll show you in the other corner. This is just a matter of preference, but you want to be not right at the edge so it has room to land, and you don't want to target at this point. Now you target. Once it's coming towards you, that's when you want to target. So we'll get him in the corner. Oh, but I hit the... That's something to look out for. If you hit these things, then Link lowers his hookshot, and then you have to press it twice before you can use it again. So I'm going to time this for when he's going to be about where I'm aiming. I don't know why I'm calling him a he. I think it's more of an it. That's not quite right. Slash, jump slash, untarget, crouch shot. This is definitely a boss that's worth practicing because it's a long fight. Unless... Oh, unless... You get the quick kill. Which is advanced tech. It's 2 very quick hookshot inputs. You want to aim and target, and then at the first opportunity, or like almost the first opportunity, shoot again. I highly, highly, highly recommend putting off learning the quick kill until you get consistent at the slow kill. The slow kill is something I still need to do every time I fail the quick kill, which is like at least half the time. So get consistent with the regular strategy, then maybe worry about the quick kill later. So that is Water Temple with Iron Boots. And who knew there was going to be a key here? Raise your hand if you knew there was going to be a key there. Key logic told us that there had to be. We'd already found 4 items, so that 100% had to be a key. Alright, we're nearly done. I'm going to just do a few things about gold scale water, which is similar in a lot of ways. Oh, wait. I needed to actually make a new file for this because we've already unlocked Water Temple. Similar in a lot of ways, but not 100% the same. So we already saw a few different strats. We saw the jump to the vanilla boss key chest. We saw the strat with the bow in the dragon room. So those are things that you have to do if you're gold scaling water. One other thing you have to do is get into the temple, which requires gold scale and not long shot, but hook shot. You can open water temple without long shot. There's a very precise setup for it. I'm not going to show it because it's not useful in these settings at all. To do anything inside water temple, you need the long shot. So effectively, for these settings, gold scale plus long shot to get into water temple. I like to get so that Link's hat is just starting to get underwater. Again, aiming is not my strong suit, so bear with me for a second. There we go. So standing here, you can see at the edge of the water, there's one little place where the water's edge comes down a bit lower, and that's the place to stand. And then with gold scale, we can dive low enough to get into the temple. We can also, after we beat Morpha, lower the water's level again to get back in with just gold scale. So now we have no choice. We have to do map first. There's like no other option here. And the way we do it is we come over here and we hook shot that torch down there. You won't see the little red dot. You just gotta trust. So everything over here is exactly the same as we saw before. So I'm actually going to skip all of it because it's exactly the same. We saw it. If you got any questions, I'm happy to go over things again, but in the absence of questions, I'm just going to assume that this part is all good. I'm going to lower the water, and we're going to look at some other parts of the dungeon instead. Because yeah, this side, all exactly the same. These three rooms, no difference. Where we will see a slight difference, we didn't see the compass chest with the water lowered, so we'll take a quick look at that. And the fastest way to get there. So if you're doing map first, you'll do those three over there, the map, the cracked wall, and... oh! Right, I'm in file 2 now. You'll do those three over there, the map, the cracked wall, and the torches. If you get enough keys, probably you'll do the boss key. And then you'll come back, save warp, and if you have hover boots, come on over to do the central bow chest. Right? So you'll come over here, you'll do your little peek, you'll realize, oh hey, that's a key, I don't need that key, I was smart about my keys, I save scummed them. So you'll come back out, and then you can just back walk and drop. And this is the way to compass chest. So that's a nice little like maneuver to save you a little bit of time on your way here. Just back walk out and drop on down. There is a peak for this. I find it kind of fussy. Yeah, see there the wall's in the way, so we gotta go further over. Wall's still in the way, we gotta go further over. Not yet. Okay, now you can see that it's gilded. However, when we first come in, it won't work because the room's not loaded. It's not there. So we have to load the room, and now we can hear the fountain. And now the peak will work. And then if it's good, we have to come over here and get it anyway. Honestly, I don't think that peak is worth it. I don't think it's worth the time that it takes to set up, because a lot of the time, whether it's a key or whether it's an item or the boss key, you're gonna come up here anyway, and so the peak is just like extra time. I'm not a fan, I don't do it, but I just wanted to show it for the sake of completion. So that's something that's available. After we did Central Bow Chest last time, we went and we did Central Pillar, but you may know that is not available to us. So this is the downside of doing Gold Scale Water. Central Pillar hard requires iron boots. There's no way to do it without the iron boots. So if you don't have iron boots and that's the boss key, you're screwed. So you could move on to do then the Dark Link loop. However, I did want to show Dragon Chest from the other side, so this is going to be the last thing I show. So this does require strength. So this is the alternative for Dragon Chest is ZL, Iron Boots, Hookshot, and Strength instead of ZL, Iron Boots, Hookshot, 5 keys, Song of Time, and Bow. Two alternatives here. If we're doing this for gold scale water, it's no problem to get to the room, but getting to the check is a bit of an issue. So if you have iron boots, you can use them. If you don't, you can dive. You can't even peek the central pillar? Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. If you have hover boots in this room, you can very easily hover across. You don't need to do it here at the side. It's a little more consistent to get it without grabbing, but you can do it right in the middle. If you don't have hover boots, of course, you gotta hit the switch. The easiest way to fall here is try to go too fast. Take your time. So, last thing here, in this room, of course, if you have iron boots, you can just jump down there and do it like we did before. However, if you don't have iron boots and you're here doing gold scale water, you do need bomb chews to do it from this side. What I do... Oops, that's not what I do. You don't need a setup for this, you can eyeball it, but if you're looking for one, I do a side hop right and then left. I turn, shield drop a bomb chew, and then when I see it, I jump. So Link is just getting in the water. Now I dive and hold forward. And we get in there with a good amount of time. Another one that I've done is, I think, just a backflip here, and then 2 crouch stabs. I think that works as well. Maybe just 1 crouch stab. And then jump. That one's not as good for seeing the bomb chew, but you sort of get a sense of the timing. You don't want to jump right away. You gotta delay the jump into the water. We'll see what happens when you jump right away. Is you miss your window entirely. So I'll just try to eyeball this. Oh, that just missed entirely. One thing to notice here as well about the jump is I'm not doing a full jump. I jump and then I hold down so that I don't go too far forward. That was close, but I caught it. If you do a full jump, you wind up a little bit too far forward, and then you're too sort of in the middle. By staying closer to this wall, the current sort of carries you along the perimeter of the room, and it takes longer to travel around the perimeter than the center, so you wind up in the right spot. But if you do a full jump in, then you're going to wind up, not where you want to be. So I've already started diving. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Oh, just made it. So yeah, it's not super precise. It's lenient on the timing. But definitely don't jump in the water immediately after you drop the chew, and definitely don't do a full jump into the water. So that is about everything I had to go over. The rest of the dungeon's pretty much exactly the same with gold scale water. Does anybody have any questions, anything you want to go over again before I hop offline? I have seen a few people in the chat saying that they learned a few things about logic or some different setups. I'm really glad to see that. I hope that's been really helpful. I know some people are also Scrubs alums in here. Maybe some are going to be Scrubs participants this season. I really like the settings this season. I'm looking forward to seeing the tournament. I think that's about all that I had. So if there's nothing from the chat, I'm going to say thank you so much for showing up. This is going to be up on YouTube probably later today. And best of luck to you all in the qualifiers. I will see you on race time. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.